Yo, what is going on, everyone? In this video, we're going to be jumping into the Rites of the Nine, which just dropped today, and we're going to be going through the Spire of the Watcher. Now, this is going to be my very first run through this dungeon, and so I want to show you guys how you can complete all of the different encounters in the activity. So for the first encounter, there's going to be a locked door with a bunch of wires coming out of it, and I'll show you guys what you need to do to complete this. So you'll notice there's a bunch of different ads, and it just tells you guys to reestablish the power. So what you'll need to do is first start by clearing out all of the enemies. From there, the minotaurs will begin to spawn, so you'll need to take one of them out. Now, once you take out the minotaur, you may notice that there is a pool that will spawn on them, as you can see here. Now, once you step in this pool, you're going to be getting a buff, and that buff will last for about a minute, but you can go back to the pool and reset the timer at any point or take down another minotaur. Now, what you'll see once you guys have taken one of these down is you'll see objectives begin to pop up around the map. What you'll have to do is now go around and shoot these different circuits to complete the electric circuit here that starts here in the middle. So there's going to be 4 wires which come out of each corner, and if you run it back, you'll be able to start up each section. So you will want to take out a few of the enemies just to get them off your back or get yourself a nice overshield, and then what you'll want to do is begin to complete these different circuits. Now, in my opinion, you should just do one side at a time, as once you start one circuit, it will open up other circuits in order to complete. As you can see, I shot that one, but there's still another wire connected to it, which doesn't have any electricity flowing through it. That's because we have to go and shoot another circuit that has now opened up after starting that. So as you can see, we could probably go over to the other side, but what you want to do is just do one side at a time. Come down here and go ahead and complete this one as well. Now, you may run out of the buff. You can take out another minotaur if you can find one. However, sometimes they will not seem to spawn until all of the enemies have been taken out. But as you can see, we now completed 1 out of the 4 sides there, as you can see with the electricity going through both sides. And so you want to try and follow the wires that are yellow. In case you guys are stuck and don't know which one to do next, just follow the ones that are yellow, because those are the ones that don't have any charges in them. So my buff went away and I was able to go and grab another buff here off this minotaur. Now after this, as soon as you pick it up, it should tell you guys the circuits that you have left. There is one way off in the back here that you may have missed, but make sure you go ahead and lock this one in, and then you're going to want to follow this wire back to the center. There's only a few more to finish up, but once you get these all done, you should be able to go on to the next encounter. Now, once you're done with this section, you'll be able to go to the next encounter. Just simply descend down to the next area. There will be a small jumping puzzle, but I will walk you through the whole thing.
They were rivals in the Golden Age. This wasn't just a pillory site, it was a joint research facility, focused on extrasolar colonization efforts. The Soul Divisive have been scouring research logs. They were looking for something more than to imprison Rasputin subminds. knows who the witness be interested in these files?
Step away from your travel before its machinations rend you limb from limb. We have no need of gods.
Now that you've gotten through the entire jumping puzzle and used the raid banner, we're going to basically be doing the same thing but in a different area. You're going to have to go and take down a Minotaur. Go ahead and complete a few more circuits as well. So I'm going to go ahead and let the gameplay run. Now Minotaurs may or may not spawn. You may have to run all the way around. Also, if you go down at any point in time and you respawn, you should save your progress with the circuits, but you will need to find another Minotaur to get that buff again, and it should pick up from where you left off. So I'll let the gameplay run to show you guys how I got through this section as well, and then I'll catch you guys when more help is needed. Now in the next section, once you guys ascend, the Minotaur will only usually spawn here in this back section from what I've found, but it will require you guys to follow the same steps, which is just following another circuit puzzle. So very quickly, I'll show you guys the gameplay of me completing this. Now I'm not really too sure what happened to my game sound during this clip, but for some reason there wasn't any. Now after this, you should be pretty close to getting into the first boss, and I'll walk you guys through how you can get that boss completed as well. But for this section, all you have to do is run around and complete these circuits. I don't think there was any specific order for this. If there was, then I got extremely lucky and just so happened to do the exact perfect order. And just as before, if you go down, you should pick up from where you left off, but you will have to go and find another Minotaur, which seem to spawn in very set locations. So they're not hard to find, but you may have to look around for them. So after completing this section, you'll be on to the first boss where you have to take down the Siren. Now again, you'll be completing another circuit puzzle, and that is how you're going to be able to deal damage. So I'll show you guys how you can get to the damage phase of this boss. The first step is going to be to take down this Minotaur to start up the fight. After that though, you will need to find the other Minotaur that drops that electrical barrier so that you can actually go and start up the circuit puzzle. So check around to all four sides until you eventually find the Minotaur. They'll drop the buff that you need, and then from there you can begin work on the circuit puzzle. Now, as you guys can see, there's going to be 4 different sides you have to complete, and it can be a little bit tough. At this point, I would just ignore all of the ads and just begin to focus on completing the circuit. As you can see, though, you're going to have to go around to quite a few different nodes this time and begin to do work on all the different sections as well. If you do run out of the buff, though, you can go and take down another Minotaur or just restep in one of the pools that are already down. Now, you should only have to do this once. Once you get all 4 sides of circuits locked up, you should only have to reset one side at a time after this. So most of the work will be done once you are done with these circuits. So I'll fast forward through. I really don't think there was any specific order, but you'll notice how each side has a fuel cell battery. Once completing each side, the fuel cell battery will be destroyed, and what you'll have to do is just destroy all 4 batteries. Now, if at any point you go down or the damage phase ends, only 3 out of the 4 batteries will still be charged, and you'll just have to reactivate the 4th. But as you guys can see here, we're now on the 4th battery. We're going to clean up a few of the ads before starting the boss phase, as they can definitely get in your way and prevent you guys from dealing damage. So you might want to take out a few ads before knocking out the final battery. Now, once you guys finally do get the last battery, the boss will come over right up in your face, and what you have to do is shoot these lights that will be on its wings. This will give you about 30 seconds to do this, so there's really no crazy rush, but you do need to shoot those lights off of its wings. Now, as soon as the boss leaves from here, what you want to do is begin dealing damage. This is going to be the damage phase, which I was not aware of at first, but as soon as the boss moves, you can begin to deal damage to them, and you'll want to go in with whatever your highest DPS weapons are. So very quickly, I'll skip to where I got to the second damage phase because the first one I did was pretty bad. I didn't realize how to deal damage or really what to do. But as you guys can see in the second phase, I was more on top of it. You just have to shoot their wings. And then immediately what you can do is begin to deal damage to the boss with your heavy weapons. Now they're going to have a few different sets of health bars, but I truly believe you can get this done in either 1 or 2 phases if you guys are really prepared. Now I ended up soloing through the entire mission, so I'm not too sure how this might be with additional teammates or fire team members. But as you guys can see, it's a rinse and repeat method, and you don't really have to worry too much about the ads. Just do as much damage to the boss as you can, and it will depend how many phases it takes you. Might be different for everybody. Now, after defeating this boss, there's actually another couple sections to this mission, but I will show you guys how to get through all of them. Now, as you guys can see, after completing this, you will get a few drops, a little bit of loot, and then you'll be able to start going to the next section.
Perhaps now we can... No! They're driving the reactor core to a meltdown. It's going prompt critical. Those power surges were intentional. Get to the reactor, lest we lose everything.
So I have skipped a bit ahead, but all I really did was just clear out a bunch of ads. And in the next section, what you'll do is you'll take down a Minotaur again, and then there will be more nodes in which you guys have to charge up. So I'll show you guys the location of these nodes, but just take out all the ads. A Minotaur will spawn up top, and then from there you'll get the buff again, where you can then complete all of these different circuits to move on to the next section. Now, once you finally do get downstairs, this will be the final boss that you have to defeat, but you may notice at first you are not able to deal damage to because of their overshield. Now, again, what you'll need to do is find the Minotaurs, but I don't think they spawn until you take out both Hydras. So take out both Hydras, one on each side, and then a Minotaur should spawn as well. Again, take them down to receive the buff, and I'll show you guys how to complete the circuits throughout this puzzle. Now, with this puzzle, completing the circuits is honestly kind of difficult because there's so many different nodes that you're going to have to fire on that you may want to take down a few of the ads. But as you can see, you'll start out in the center of this room, taking out all these nodes. And then after that, there's going to be some nodes that spawn on the back side of these walls, and then a whole separate room as well. Now, the nodes aren't the hardest part. It's really the fact that the boss is firing on you, and there's also a ton of ads as well. So just be prepared by maybe taking out a few extra ads along the way. Now that's pretty much it for this boss fight though, guys. You're just going to rinse and repeat this method, but I will let the gameplay roll out so you can see just how tough the boss is, how many phases it took me, and how much damage my weapons and things were doing. So hopefully this step-by-step guide helped you out. I know it was a pretty long video, but this was just a really long dungeon. I wanted to try to explain everything as this was my first time going through, and I did do it as a solo player. So hopefully this helps. For new players, I know that this mission could be tough, but for returning players, it might be easy. Let me know what you thought down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.
sabotage us, glean knowledge, and annihilate any trace of advantage. Extrasolar colony.